What is happening, folks? Welcome back to another video. Today we have got something special, maybe a little bit controversial, for the new Bronco. Now, before I go into what that is, or actually I should probably kind of tell you what that is. Actually, you guys already know because it's in the title of this video. Today, we're gonna show you guys how to install the Bronco billet housing on your stock steering rack. Now, before we dive into that whole process, we've got to talk about the issues that I have been running into these past couple weeks taking this thing off-road. The biggest issue that I am facing right now, in case you guys didn't know, in case you guys are living under a rock and you haven't realized that the steering on these new Broncos sucks, whether you're talking tie rods, whether you're talking just the rack itself, whether you're talking about being on a trail and four-wheel drive, putting all of the forearm strength you can muster into that steering wheel and not being able to turn. Those are all issues that we're having. And so today, according to all of the selling points for this rack, we should get a little bit of that steering ability back once this is installed, and hopefully just kind of make this whole system overall a little bit more beefy. I will put a disclaimer out there that I'm gonna try to go step by step in this install. Bronco does have a very good install video out there already, but we kind of wanted to give our own spin and show a few more of what we hope to be a lot of metal shavings in that steering rack. That way you guys can see them up close and personal. With that said, enough yapping. We're gonna set this thing down, or we're gonna start taking nuts and bolts off and seeing if we can solve these issues. But as usual, I have no idea what I'm doing, so.
I'm just kidding, but seriously.
To begin this install, start by removing the passenger tire. God, this is a heavy tire to lift off right now.
Oh boy. Okay.
Try not to throw your back out in the process. This is way lighter than I thought. Okay. Good thing I ate my oatmeal today. Next, if installed, you'll want to remove the skid plate that protects the steering rack. As we get started, one fun thing about rock crawling is every now and again you get to fix a bolt or two because you can't get a socket on it to pry it loose, but it's a badge of honor, am I right? Mint. Gosh dang it. There are 4 bolts total. Set the plate aside and move on to the next step. Whoa, that's what I call using your head. Next, you'll want to remove the tie rod nut. Once removed, apply a couple of good smacks to the knuckle to loosen the tie rod. You'll then want to grab a flathead screwdriver and use it to break and remove the boot clamp. Don't worry, Bronco supplies a new clamp. Next, loosen the tie rod from the ball screw and unscrew the tie rod by hand. Now, you'll want to remove the passenger side rack bolt. It's on pretty tight, so some hammer persuasion may be necessary. Okay. Next, move on to the driver's side. Okay, now on this step, when you're taking this driver's side bolt out, you only have to loosen it just enough for this steering rack so you have access to all of the T30 bolts. Once, again, you've got access, you can go ahead and start taking those out. There are 7 T30 screws total, 6 on the face of the housing and 1 on the opposite side. Once those are removed, you can begin to carefully pry away the stock housing. Alrighty, there you go, and just like that, your stock housing is out. So if we take a closer look at this housing, one of the biggest things kind of right off the bat is this bushing that Ford puts in this housing. That is completely chewed up, just absolutely thrashed. And I don't know how well you can tell on camera, but I can see it clear as day over here. This circle, or what should be a circle, is completely lobed out, the top and the bottom. And again, that is from just the bigger tires, the bigger lift, and that ball screw just flexing in and out, rubbing on the top of the housing, on the bottom, lobing out the housing, causing it to be weaker, but the main problem is getting all those metal shavings in that ball screw in your gears and all of that. So now what we gotta do is run some grease on that ball screw, run it through the system several times till all those metal shavings are out, and then hopefully we get a little bit of our steering back and save ourselves the trouble of a completely busted rack. I don't know why I'm wiping my glove. That's what the glove is there for. Anyways.
If you've been off-roading before this install, then remember that this step is crucial to getting the most out of your stock steering. Go through the process several times. Apply the grease, cycle the steering, and use a rag to clean any metal shavings off.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that too well. Obviously we've got the white grease, but there are metal shavings coming out. They're not huge chunks like I was kind of hoping for, because that would obviously make it a lot easier to see, but there's a lot of little splinters in here that just kind of left unattended will eventually build up and cause some real issues. So we're gonna cycle this about 7-8 times till we really don't see anything, and then we'll put that housing back on.
You're essentially going to go through this process till your rag is pretty stinking clean. Then go one more time just to make sure.
I would just like to disclaim the fact that of course, I did not realize, because I'm an idiot, I unpacked the box myself. I did not realize that the Bronc Buster stuff comes with the grease that you need. So we have a full pack of multi-purpose synthetic grease that we could have used for this whole deal. I didn't. The stuff we used worked, so just know that the Bronc Buster package will come with the grease that you need to use to clean your system out. One more time just to drive the point home. So we put the grease that came in the package on the ball screw, ran it through a couple more times, and I'm hoping that you guys can see this, but just a ton of big metal shavings in there. I mean, look at these suckers, man. I would say the best thing to do is to just kind of be patient when you're running this thing through. Really take a good look, don't rush it, do the due diligence. That way those metal shavings aren't sitting in there just jacking up all the stuff you've got going. So one thing that I will note before we clean the rest of this off is that turning this back and forth, even that has become easier as I've cleaned more and more of these metal shavings out, which is nice. So I'm gonna keep on doing this until we get a clean rag. So, alrighty folks, so at this point, we've ran it through several times. We're not seeing really any metal shavings left, so all that's left to do is just get a little bit of that grease and lube up the ball screw. That way it's just got a little bit of an easier ride. Don't want to put a ton on it because, like the Bronc Buster video says, you don't want all of this getting on the belt. So just a smidge, and we'll call that a day and get that housing installed. Before we do that, we need to clean this surface.
As stated, you'll want to clean the rack surface where the new Bronc Buster housing will be installed. This prep ensures quality silicone seal later in the install.
Alrighty folks, so that rack is as clean as we can get it. We ran it through way more than 7 times, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Obviously, we've been hardcore rock crawling that thing for quite a bit. Moving on in this process, what we gotta do now is get these old bushings out of the old housing and installed into the new. What you wanna do there is grab the bolt and run it through the side where it'll run through. Obviously, this is a threaded side. Screw it in till the threads are sticking all the way through. That way, when we go to bash this thing out, you don't actually jack up all of the threads. Voila. So what I like to do to get this bushing out is I like to clamp it down right on the housing right here. And as you can see, I've already started getting it out just to kind of prove the concept. But you're gonna get the housing locked into the vice grips if you have them. You're gonna grab just something that'll fit nicely inside the hole. And then you're gonna smack your stock housing onto the floor. If that doesn't get the bushing out, you're gonna put it back on the vise and try again. Try to be a little bit more professional if possible. Boop. There you go. And one thing just to mention is this bushing does have a nice metal piece to it, so you're not actually gonna mess up this rubber or urethane or whatever that is. So just get something that'll fit nicely on that, pound it out, and you'll be good. One last thing to note about taking these bushings off. Before you pound them out, just kind of make a mental note of the orientation that they were in the housing. That way you can get them installed correctly with the threaded side on the right side. There are these numbers in this bushing, which has the threads in, which I like to orientate kind of up like this. Same thing for the other side, numbers kind of face up. And there you go, bushings are in. The last thing you need to do is pull the dowel pins out of your old housing. Nice and easily, make sure when you grab them with whatever pliers or anything you're using that you don't kind of pinch it. All right, we're almost done here, folks. Once you've got those bushings in, you've got the dowel pins in, you get the supplied silicone tube, and you're just gonna run it along this indented line. And from there, we pretty much install it, so. Whew, that's a workout. Once that puppy is siliconed up, you get the most rewarding part of throwing this all back together.
At this point, it's time to do everything in reverse. Use your T30 screws to bolt the new Bronkbuster housing on. Don't forget the one in the back. I start all the bolts by hand, then use a 90-degree electric ratchet to thread them down quickly. And last, I'll use a regular ratchet for final tightening to make sure I'm not stripping the threads. Once the housing is on, reinstall the passenger and driver side rack bolt, torqued down to 184 pounds. Position the supplied hose clamp on the tie rod boot, then turn the driver's side wheel so the passenger side of the ball screw is more easily accessible. It doesn't need to be turned full lock. Thread your tie rod back into the ball screw, making sure not to cross thread, then use a crescent wrench to tighten it down. Position the boot over the housing, then install and tighten the hose clamp. Reinstall your tie rod into the knuckle, apply Loctite to the nut, and tighten the nut down to 46 foot-pounds.
Alrighty folks, there you go. Once you have torqued down your tie rod nut, all you gotta do is lower this thing. If it's on a lift, throw your passenger tire back on and you are ready to hit the trails again. What we have decided to do in this video is get this thing back on the ground and do a test drive to kind of let you guys know in this video if this actually made a difference in the feel of the steering. So we've got Moab in 1 week. This video is way backlogged because we've been filming a ton of stuff. So we're gonna head to Moab, throw this thing on a trail and show you guys if it feels any different. So that said, hopefully the install was smooth enough. Stick around and we'll let you guys know if it actually made a difference. Okay folks, so it has been like a month and a half since we did the housing install, and at this point we've been to Moab, we've been to our event, we've been to the Big Bear Bronco Bash.
Come on, hold,
with Mama.
hold, here, hold. Ah, God.
And we have really got to put this thing to the test. So with that said, the thoughts on the housing and if it actually made a difference in how rough the steering was beforehand, I am happy to report that it absolutely made a difference. I can actually steer this thing now when under pressure, when rock crawling, and I am super pumped with the results that I got after cleaning out the system and putting that housing on. Because again, you gotta remember, from what you guys saw in the video, that old housing was getting the ball screw caught. It was just rubbing against it, it was getting chipped. I can explain more of that if you guys want to message or call the shop. We can definitely walk you through some of that stuff. But the long story short is that the steering is 10 times better, and I'm happy that I have now really bulletproofed my steering system. With that said, if you guys are thinking about getting the system, if you guys are worried about being on the rocks and messing up your steering, the Bronkbuster system is the way to go. I know it's expensive, but for what it fixes, I think it is well worth it. Now, if that doesn't sweeten the deal enough, what we are going to be doing until the end of June is giving you guys 10% off all Bronkbuster parts. All you have to do is use code BEEF10. Head over to the website, choose any of the Bronkbuster parts or packages that you want. When you come to checkout, use code BEEF10 and you guys will see the 10% off. Plus, free shipping. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys have any questions, drop them down below. Make sure you subscribe, become one of the horsemen. And with all of that being said, we will see you guys out there on the trail. Peace!